refuge. I know it's been a really long time since I've done a video. My internet has been a bit of a pain at the moment, and I'm just going to say right now, please excuse my croaky voice. I've been sick for the last week and a half, and this is about as good as my voice gets. But what I'm going to do today is something that I've seen a lot of other people do, is we're going to make our own travel watercolour palette using an empty watercolour tin. I've taken the pencils all out of that, and a ice cube tray. And I've picked out all my paints here, ready to go. Now the reason I'm doing another one of these, there are a few out there on YouTube, is that a lot of people buy the empty pans or half pans, and I was researching it, and here in Australia it's actually quite expensive. It's $20 for 20 Australian dollars for 10 little half pans, which is about the same size as this, if not smaller, and I'm not actually willing to fork out $2 for an empty pan. It's a little bit ridiculous. What other people do also is they buy the pans filled from Winsor & Newton or Schminke or any of those other brands, and they pop them into their own. But once again, I don't want to spend any more money because I've already got, this is only half of the watercolor tubes that I already have, and I didn't feel it was necessary to spend more money on more paint when it's going to take me years to get through all of these ones. So I needed a cheaper, or in fact free way of doing this myself as a travel kit. So I've just grabbed out of my cupboard an ice cube tray that I don't use. This one has got 32 wells in it. There are 16 larger wells and 16 smaller wells, which is not going to be a big deal because you only use a small amount of paint anyway. And like I said, I've got my large pencil tin, which I've taken the pencils out. It's empty, and my ice cube tray actually fits perfectly inside it, with plenty of space to put your brushes and any extra paints that you can't fit in. You can fit it all in there, ready to go. And then it's also, you can close it up and keep the paints out of the air. Not that watercolors, that's not such a big deal, but after a little while they do start to not revive so much if you leave them for too long. And I don't generally paint every day. I will go through phases where I want to paint, or phases where I want to scrapbook, or phases when I don't want to do anything at all, like has been the case recently because I've been sick, but really felt the need to get back into the painting again. So what we're going to do first is we'll get the tin out of the way for now. We know that it fits in there, and you've got to pick your 32 colours. Now I've picked my 32 colours here. There are some colours in here that I probably don't use very much, but the OCD in me just can't handle there being any empty spots in the tray. So I've picked some colours that I don't normally use, but it would probably be a good idea to put in, like burnt umber, gold and silver. I've never actually used gold and silver, but we're going to give them a go anyway. These are just the cheap Mont paints, so they're probably not as good as the Winsor & Newton and the Art Spectrum, but we're not going to use heaps of it, so I figured that'll be the way to go for those ones. So what I'm going to do now, and I'll put you on fast motion for this, I won't make you sit through all of this, is I'm going to now put in order how I want my paints to go. Okay, so I've put them all in order in rows of 8, and what I've just discovered is I actually have 3 Flinders Red Violet, because I bought a set recently and I already had one, and by accident I bought one before that as well. So I'm never ever going to run out of Flinders Red Violet. So just give me a minute while I dig around in my box and see if I can find one more colour to fill in the holes so my OCD remains happy. Okay, so, ow, sorry. I have pulled out one more. I've got a burnt sienna here. Again, not a colour a huge amount because I mix a lot of my own colours, but it will save me time on the go because mixing colours on the go, it can be a little bit tedious. So if I don't have to mix a burnt sienna, then all the better. So let me see, where am I going to pop this one? I think I'll move them all down this way. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so I've got my 32 colours in order here, and I'm going to pop them into the tray. I won't make you sit through that again. I'll fast forward through that, and then we need to keep them in order too. If we don't keep them in order, we won't remember what is in what. So I'll pop you onto fast motion again, and let's get to filling this ice cube tray. Okay, now we've filled up our tray. What I thought I might quickly do is also just explain to you the different types of watercolour paint tubes that I'm actually using and what sort of grade or quality they are. So I've got Reeves and I've got Mont. They're probably a student quality one, so you can get away with it. It is just a field set. So for my purposes, the student grade and the cheaper ones, these are the cheap ones, I can get away with them at this point in my artistic, I wouldn't call it a career, but my artistic journey, I think is the word I'm looking for. Art Spectrum, which is my favourite, they're an Australian company. They have their Art Prism is their student grade, and a lot cheaper than their professional grade, but their professional grade is also a lot cheaper than Winsor and Newton. So those are the five different ones that I'm using. Those two being professional grade, these three being the student grade, which for my purposes right now and for any beginner, student grade is fine. If you don't want to spend money, get student grade. I would personally prefer to go with Art Spectrum than these two. Marte in particular is quite cheap. Reeves is a little bit more expensive and probably better quality, but they don't have all the colours. Marte has got a huge colour range, and you can buy Marte from any cheap shop, so Reject Shop or your dollar store, things like that. Reeves you could get from Spotlight, Officeworks, things like that. And then Art Spectrum and Art Prism I found at Riot Art. And then of course Winsor and Newton you can get at any good art store that sells good quality, high quality professional products such as Eckersley's. And if you're on the Gold Coast, Mrs. Red's Art Room sells them as well. So those are the grades that I've got. I don't mind mixing them. It's not a problem for me. Some people are fussy, I'm not. So now that I've done that, and I've also written out in order what my paint colours are and what brand they are and whether they're a student grade or not. And what I'm going to do now, because I've already drawn it up, I'm going to do my colour chart. I've drawn up my 32 squares, and that's going to end up being taped in to the lid of my tin so that wherever I go I've always got my colour chart ready to go here. So I'm going to start doing that, and I'll put you on fast motion, and I'll see you back again when that is complete. my camera died just after I started doing this. So there is the completed colour guide, and as you can see, I'm a little bit out of practice with my wash, so it's not perfect, but that doesn't really matter. We're going to just check that it's dry, putting your back of your hand on. If it's room temperature, generally speaking it's dry, and it should be alright to write on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chart that I wrote up before, so I know exactly what the colours are, and I'm going to write my colours and the name brand of the colours in as well. And I'm going to use a, where is it? A 0.3 Unipin fine line. And these are water and fade proof, and they're pigment inks, so they work really well on top of watercolour paints and also underneath watercolour paints, apparently. I haven't actually tested that out yet, but we'll see how we go. Obviously the colours that are too dark to write on, I'll write above, or hopefully next to them, and that should only be these sort of top sort of colours up here in this corner, the Payne's Grey and the Ivory Black. Let's get those out of the way. Pop these here. Okay, and here we have the finished product. Don't know if you can see that too well, but I've just labelled all my colours, and I've labelled them with a key down the bottom. So R is for Reeves and it's student grade, MM is Mont, Marte, student grade, WN is Winsor and Newton, it's a professional grade, and AS is Art Spectrum, professional grade. However, I do have my dioxazine violet is Art Spectrum, but it's student grade, and I've just popped an S on there. Sorry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop it all in the tin, and then we'll be ready to go. So here we go. What I've done is I've popped double-sided tape on the back of my guide. So we'll just peel that off real quick. Oops. And of course, make sure when you do your guide that you do it on the watercolour paper that you're likely to use, so cold pressed or hot pressed. I use cold pressed. I struggle to find hot pressed here on the Gold Coast in Australia, and I quite like the cold pressed anyway. And as you can see, I've already cut this one out, and it's ready. It will fit perfectly. We can, whoops. Takes a bit of practice getting it in, obviously. We'll just pop that in there and make sure it sticks. There we go, that's not going to go anywhere, and it makes the inside of our tin look a little bit better than all the writing that was on there. So while we've got our tin here, here's our paint palette that we've made. And to stop it sort of sliding around, it doesn't seem to slide too much, but if you're traveling and you're carrying it around a bit, I suggest sticking it somehow to the bottom of the tray, so that I can take it out to work with again. I'm not going to glue it in. I'm going to use some blue tack or press stick, and I'll just pop some of that on the edges where it sits on the bottom of the tray. And then it shouldn't, oh, it still does. Shouldn't move around, but it does. Probably need a little bit more. If this fails, I will have to go back to the drawing board. But with enough blue tack, I reckon we'll be okay. There we go. Let's try again. Okay, there we go. Doesn't move around. All good. Of course, obviously don't tip it upside down, because your more liquid paints, like these ones, they're going to run out. Your more solid looking paints will probably be okay. Alright, what else am I going to put in here? Well, I'm going to pop in a little 15 centimeter ruler, just in case. I will pop in, this is what I had in my previous little pack, which I wasn't entirely happy with. Oh goodness me, where did that come from? So I've got a range of different sized Marvy pens for drawing, and these are all pigmented ink, waterproof, photo safe, light fast, non-toxic. So these work just as well as the uni pen ones, but I like to keep my uni pen ones for at home. So I've got a 1.0, a 0.5, 0.8, 003 and a 005. So these two are particularly tiny for really tiny details. And these have also got, these are great pens, and they've got the number on the lid as well as on the actual pen. So I'm going to pop those in. I'm also going to pop in this is a Kiki K brand, Signo Uniball. It's just a white ballpoint pen that you can use for highlights. Wouldn't be caught dead without that one. I'm also going to pop in so we're going to pop in one mechanical pencil, and this is a Pentel one that takes the 0.5 lead, 0.5 size lead, and I'm also going to pop in a box of 0.5 millimeter HB leads in case those break. There are 120 pieces in here, so I should hopefully never ever run out of those ones. The other things I'm going to pop in here, obviously you need paintbrushes, but when you're on the go, it's not always that great to have, where do you get your water from? You don't always have water. So I've got these brushes here. These are they're nice and soft. These are a Pentel water brush made in Japan. I can't remember where I got these. I think I actually got these from, they came in a pack of 2, and I got them, where did I get them? Oh, that's right, I got them from Stampin' Up. So you can buy these on eBay, you can buy them on Amazon, which I don't tend to use Amazon because in Australia it takes way too long for everything to get to me, and I'm a little bit impatient. Eckersley's has these, and yeah, you can buy them online for pretty cheap. You can get a set of 3 different sized nibs. So these are the pointed nib, and you can get small, medium and broad, and you can also get chisel tip ones in some of the other brands like Sakura Koi. You can get them. These are fantastic for a travel kit. So all you do is you screw the top off and you fill up your little water container, and they haven't leaked on me yet, so that's good. And there you go, ready to go, sans a water bottle or sans having to carry one of these around. So those 2 are both going to be popped in there. Let's just tidy this up a little bit. Oh, a rubber. Obviously I'm going to need a rubber or eraser as well. Let's raid my other kit that I had here. Just a white eraser, I pop that in. I'm not going to bother with putty rubbers for this kit. They tend to melt, and I don't want that going all over my tin. I might pop in, obviously you need some, my brain's not working now, paper towel, so you can roll out a couple of sheets of paper towel, fold it up. Oops, it's not going to fold properly now. There we go. Fold it up, and you can probably fold it into quarters. And you can pop that in here, squeeze that in, And then just every time you come home, if you've used it, you can just replenish that paper towel. Now what I also might pop in here is just a couple of tiny paintbrushes, because the tips on these, I've only got these two tips. So I've got, it seems to be a large and a small. I don't really have anything in between. And I like to do really tiny detail in my paintings. I like to do the really tiny stuff. So let's have a look. I might pop in a 0 round. That's a Jazz Art one. Might pop that one in. I might pop in a Mont number 7 flat brush. Okay, and these are some of the others that I've just pulled out. I've got a number 12 flat. Pop that one in. A number 5 flat. A 5 round, just a little one. And a number 1. So there we go. That is what I will pop into my kit. Obviously you still need your paper, but I'm not going to pop that in the tin. That can go in a bag or something like that. And so there we have it. Let's pop the lid on. And it all fits beautifully. Mostly. What's not fitting? Paintbrushes. Paintbrushes are not behaving. Oh no, it's the rubber. Here we go. Okay, try again. There we go. And then for extra security, if you really wanted to, you could put a big thick rubber band around it, and then it won't, the lid won't pop off at all.